ringposter.po and hitfirstboxing.com. We in the house with Paulie Malignaggi. Paulie, is always a pleasure. Paulie, I see you working out still.
Yeah.
Coming up from the gym.
No, I'm actually about to work out, but when it's the last couple of weeks before a fight, I always keep like little wrist weights on my hands, so that the time of the day when my hands feel the lightest is when I take these off and I put gloves on. So that way the gloves always feel light. You know, I don't work out with these. I do everything but work out.
True indeed. Now today, the press conference, a lot of stuff. One thing that caught my eye was that you said that all these fighters, especially Broner, he got people backing him up.
Yeah. And
the way you said it, that they're not backing you up. There's a company out there. I'm not trying to name names, but I agree. Where there's
it's been my whole career. It hasn't just been now. So the irritability that I have now for that political fact it's more that really I didn't get all this and he's getting it. This clown, this totally idiotic kid who yeah, he has some talent, but there's other kids with talent that were deprived of such kind of promotion that deserved it more than him. You know what I mean? I mean, let's be real here. Al Heyman has a kid like Peter Quillen, for example. You know, Peter Quillen is marketable. He's funny. He's good looking. He can fight. He can punch. Like, market somebody like that. What do you got to market Adrien Broner for? Like, what is he doing for you? Like, and Peter Quillen will be good fighters. Can Adrien Broner be good fighters? You know, nobody even knows that yet. You know what I mean? So, you know, all this marketability he's got in Ring magazine covers and all that. So you know, it's irritating because you know I came along at one time. I was the undefeated hot shot, and I was talking all that stuff and. So, you know, Richard Schaefer comes on the podium today and says he invokes emotion, negative or positive. Dude, I was doing the same thing. It invokes emotion. Every time I had an interview, you hated it, all that stuff. Didn't get me any marketing, you know. Granted, I had a lot of hand injuries early on, but it really comes down to political connections. It's just like in any business. Boxing is the same way.
Music, every business, man, same thing. It's all about connection. But like you said, you had to fight your way up. You said the man had to come up to you one day in the locker room and said that, you know, how do you do it, even the 10-rounders? Yeah. He has to prove himself this Saturday to see if he could even step in the ring with a man like you because, I mean, the fighters he fought were nowhere near the plateau you've been at. Yeah. So what is your game plan for this Saturday?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. You know, he gets caught up in all his own smack talk that he forgets that conversation we had. And I kept it in the back of my mind, and I was a whole promotion. I'm like, do I ever bring this up? I'm gonna keep this ace on my sleeve and remind him of it. And it just came up today, but it was the week he fought Ponte de Leon. It was a public media workout in Wildcard Gym because the fight was in L.A. or in Anaheim that time. It was 2 years ago, and I remember we were in the locker room at the same time, in the changing room, and you know nobody was paying attention to me because I was kind of on the comeback run. The media was all there for him and all the main event fighters and stuff, and he kind of was just like had a moment where he was just like, hey man, you know, like I never been 10 rounds, my first 10 rounds of this week, you know, like how do you do it? Anything you know, I should keep in mind. It's just funny because he's coming at you in a humble way at that time, and then all of a sudden now he's like talking to me like he's a big shot, and I'm like, dude, I had to remind him, like, bro, I see right through you, bro. I know who you really are. Like, don't come out with that punk stuff, man. You're a little sissy. I was like, I see right through it and the reason I know I see right through it is because that same week I told him all those things, and then that same week he threw 3 punches around that Saturday night. So I looked at him, and I remember that weekend watching the fight, I'm like, this kid is not even listening to what I told him. Like, he's scared. He's terribly scared of just going the rounds, you know. So I know who this kid is. I know when the going gets tough, you know. What he is and how he fought. You can learn the box. You can you know take that ability and become a better fighter. But character you're born with or you're not born with. He has no character.
Now working with Showtime, you're on the road nonstop. How does that reflect and you know get into your training camp?
It wasn't too bad this camp because you know from the moment the training camp picked up the pace. I only traveled to Atlantic City for the Matisse-Peterson fight. Other than that, I was on the West Coast almost exclusively. You know. Even the June 8th card, the Maidana fight with Lopez, just happened to be in Carson, you know. So I was already out there training, so it wasn't, it didn't affect me at all. It was cool.
Who helped you to sparring team and everything like that for this fight?
I had a lot of guys I sparred with. You know, it's funny, when I was in San Antonio, I was at Jesse James Leja's gym. I worked with Benjamin Whitaker, and I keep forgetting this kid's first name. I think it's Kenton Scipio, but his last name is Scipio. I know that, and he's an undefeated kid, and they were both undefeated, actually, 2 good fighters from the Texas area, in that area over there. In New York, I had Patrick Day. I had a national amateur ranked fighter named Tyrone. I had another kid. I keep forgetting Dimash is his last name, but Dimash is a Russian kid. Then in the main part of camp in LA, we had Steve Forbes, Kareem Mayfield, Keandre Gibson. We actually brought Gibson back with us to New York and keep using him out here. So we had a lot of different spar partners, a lot of quick, slick fighters. We used those as much as we could. We got a lot of sparring.
Paulie, every fighter I speak to, do interviews with, I always ask them, what got you into the world of boxing? How did you get laced up? What got you started?
I just got into some trouble as a teenager. I wasn't like no gangster or nothing, but I definitely just a kid who was had to find the right way to go. You know, I was doing like little troublesome things. I got myself thrown out of school. I got into some trouble, and my family was just like, yo, you know, do something with this kid before he winds up in the wrong way. You know, so they took me to the gym, and you know, they thought that maybe I would teach me some discipline or some lessons and whatnot. I didn't think they ever thought I would be a fighter because I had no discipline at all at that time. I'll admit it to you myself. I wouldn't commit to anything, and I just liked it. I liked boxing a lot once I started working out in the gyms, and I looked forward to going every day. I looked forward to training every day. It was just like real. It was something I became real passionate about. I really loved it. I looked forward to competing. I looked forward to improving, getting better, working on new things. It just I became obsessed with it, you know, and suddenly I just had no reason to get in trouble. You know, I was like, I had a reason to not get in trouble. You know, you never have a reason to get in trouble, but I had a reason to not get in trouble because I didn't want to lose the ability to train every day. So it definitely came along at the right time.
What was your amateur record?
I was 40-9 because I started. I was 16 years old, so and I didn't have my first fight till I was 17. But I had a short amateur career, but very proficient in those few years. You know, I won the U.S. amateur title, so I was national champion. I made the USA team. I won 2 New York Golden Glove titles and several other smaller tournaments. So, from 17 to 20, when I had amateur fights, I had 49 of them, but I competed at a pretty good level because I made sure I won more than I lost.
Big fight this Saturday. What's your prediction?
You know, the game plan is to take it around at a time and dismantle him. You know, like all the pre-fight trash talk and stuff gets you in a way. Some of it doesn't. You know, some of it is for hype. Some of it, you know, it gets you angry, makes you want to do things. But you look back and you're like, you just gotta stay disciplined. You know, it's funny. I was on the way here and I told Peter, I was like, you know what? I was like, the way to really approach this fight Saturday is to look at him as a body, not to look at him as Adrien Broner. There's just a body across the ring from me, and just go in and, you know, work my craft. Yeah, that's it. You know, and that's kind of like how I look at sparring partners. You know, most of the time when sparring partners come in, I don't know anything about them. You know, and they're just bodies to me. You know, because I don't know a thing about them, and I have to figure them out as I go in the ring. Now, the thing about the body that I'm fighting on Saturday is I do know some tendencies. We studied some video and some of the little tendencies he has. But aside from that, I don't want to think about anything that could distract me, like the trash talking and all this hype stuff he's going to be doing to walk into the ring, dancing around and stuff. I think the best way to look at it is just they ring the bell. There's a body across the ring from me, and let's go to work.
A couple last words for your supporters worldwide. How can they follow you in the whole 9 yards?
Supporters worldwide, it's always a fun thing to talk to supporters worldwide. They're better than haters, but always you can follow me on Twitter at Paulie Malignaggi, Instagram at Malignaggi. Don't go to at Paulie Malignaggi on Instagram because it's a fake one. They stole my name. So at Malignaggi on Instagram, at Paulie Malignaggi on Twitter.
Always a pleasure, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.